Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Siboga TV, which is your number one online political channel. And today we want to actually have a discussion about what happened yesterday when we were having demonstrations across the Republic of Kenya. And in the capital city of this republic, the Gen Zs were able to access the Senate and the National Assembly. And that is where they had actually said that if the finance bill couldn't be stopped, they were going to access the National Assembly and the House of the Senate. And actually, that is what happened yesterday. Even if the security operators, they tried so hard to see if they can thwart that progress. But at the end, the Gen Zs were able to gain entry to the National Assembly and the House of the Senate. After the National Assembly was able to pass the finance bill, which actually is waiting to be assented into law by the president, or it becomes into law once we are going to have the wraps of around 14 to 15 days from yesterday. So that occurrence yesterday actually made the public to wonder a lot. And the people of Kenya are actually so much embarrassed about what happened yesterday, because that is a big breach to our national security. Because as you remember, the government consists of the executive, the National Assembly, and the judiciary. But you will find that those organs yesterday, they were actually affected because of the demonstrations were able to access to those organs. And that has led to a very big question in the republic of this nation. And people are asking, demonstrations, they actually started being peaceful. But yesterday at the end, they became quite violent. And hence, the Gen Zs were able to access both parliament, that means the Senate and the National Assembly. And even in the National Assembly, when they got access to the parliament, some of the MPs, as we hear, they collapsed because they never imagined that the Gen Zs could be able to access that house. Because remember, those are highly places which are safeguarded by our national operators. And that is why today I want to have a candid discussion about the whole issue. But before we dive in and try to discuss about that issue, what it means to our democratic space, what it means to our leadership, and what it means to our security issues, I could request you kindly to take a minute or two and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Give this video thumbs up, share the video to your friends, and if your friends are lovers of politics, then I request you kindly to request them to subscribe to this YouTube channel. And for those ones who have subscribed to our YouTube channel, I say thank you. May God bless you all abundantly, because you always give us the inspiration to continue coming up with this kind of political analysis. And now, let us go back to the discussion about what happened yesterday. The Gen Zs were able to access parliament, judiciary, the Senate, and actually they have said that they are going to access even to State House if the president could be able to assent into law that finance bill. And this is making very many Kenyans to get worried about the security of this nation. Because if the Gen Zs could be able to access to the judiciary, to parliament, that means both parliament, the National Assembly, and uh, the National Assembly and the Senate, then it's quite serious. There is what we call a breach of security, because I don't think what happened yesterday should have happened. And remember, since independence, no demonstrators have actually accessed to the judiciary. But yesterday, it really happened, and it is quite sad about that. And that means our security organs are not up to the job, because they could have thwarted what happened yesterday. They could have prevented what happened yesterday if, from the word go, they had put security precautions into seriousness. And even it made that the armed forces to be called to restore order. So it is quite serious. We have to question what really happened to our security operators, because I don't think that should happen to our institution, that the demonstrators can access our institution. It is actually so bad. And as you know, the president called this treasonable. Another thing which we should actually talk about this is about the democratic space. What does that mean to our democratic space in this country? What happened yesterday? Because we had actually said that the Kenyan democracy is ripening up. But what happened yesterday, actually, it took us to the medieval time. It took us back. That means we are questioning our democratic space, because we should have demonstrations which are peaceful, as it is being required by our constitution, because our constitution says that we have the right to demonstrate, to picket, but that must be done in a very peaceful way without being armed. And when the agencies first came out, it was quite peaceful, and everybody was very happy that in Kenya we can do demonstrations without becoming violent. But yesterday, what happened? Actually, it has taken our democratic space backward, and therefore we condemn that violence nature of what happened, because it is taking our republic democracy backward. It's as if now we are moving to 1960 something, while we are supposed to move forward, where demonstrators come out, they demonstrate being peaceful, they demonstrate or they picket in a way which is acceptable to the law, and they go home, and their call is heard by their government. But it's unfortunate that yesterday the demonstrations turned out to be violent. The police used excess forces, and that's why they had to shoot directly to the demonstrators, and that's why lives were lost. So it is quite a sad event. And that is why I ask the people of Kenya that we should remain calm, we should restrain ourselves, and we must know that to keep Kenya peacefully, it means a lot. And to bring Kenya to where we have reached, it means a lot. And that means we should keep building Kenya forward. We should not go back. We should be making sure that democratic rights of demonstrators are always respected. The police must always know that demonstrators should be given enough security. And at the same time, demonstrators must restrain themselves so much so that they cannot make a scene to be violent. And at the same time, also the demonstrators must know that they must respect other people's rights. And if we can be able to do that, such that whenever we have a demonstration, we should not lose any life. We should have a ear to each other. We should have that virtue of humility, tolerance. Then Kenya can be a better place to live with us. And also, yesterday made us to feel there's a gap in our leadership, a gap of a reasoning government, because it has been going on when the Gen Zs have been saying, these are our issues. We should bring the finance bill into the table so that we can talk about it because before we pass it. And our constitution also give it that we must actually make the people of Kenya to interrogate the bill before we take it to parliament. We should talk about it. Participation must be seen and must be done in a very extensive way. But because sometimes we do things in a hurry, because of probably leadership which is not to standard. That is why we are reaching this situation where we have come up with a bill which is supposed to be meant to be the law of this nation. And you will find that many people are against it. So we should have the reasoning ear from our leadership. So what happened yesterday, actually, it is quite sad because it makes our democratic space to lag behind. It actually puts our security operators into question. And it also makes us to wonder whether we, the people of Kenya, are moving forward. And at the same time, we always question about our leadership. What do you have to say about what happened yesterday? Please drop your comment in the comment section below. And if this is your first time to bump into this YouTube channel, I request you kindly to take a minute or two and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Give this video thumbs up. Share the video to your friends. And if your friends are lovers of politics, then it is good to request them to subscribe to this YouTube channel. And for those ones who have subscribed to this YouTube channel, I request you kindly, I could tell you kindly that you are our inspiration and you always make us to be inspired and to continue coming up with this kind of political analysis. And lastly, to the people of this nation, it is time we must tolerate each other. It is time we must keep peace. It is time we must see each other as brothers and sisters. It is time we must know Kenya ni mama, Kenya ni baba. Let us keep Kenya to be safe. And also, I caution the Gen Zs that sometimes you might have a very good cause But if you are not careful, this can lead to chaos and destruction of property across the nation. And that will put us in an awkward situation. And with that, I say thank you. May God all bless you all abundantly until we meet in our next political conversation. Goodbye.